We all use technology for many reasons, including and especially for educational purposes. Even now, you're watching me through a device, not to mention we have been using technology as a solution for our schooling throughout this crisis. But what if I told you that the use of technology in the classroom is hindering our ability to learn and retain information? This is a problem that occurs everywhere in the world, but for the time and scope purposes of this presentation, the studies involved in this speech are involved with the US. I've done research on this topic for the last 3 weeks and know an extensive amount of information over the negative effects technology has on student learning in the classroom. Today, we will explore the specific problems related to the incorrect uses of technology in the classroom, how these problems are caused, and some solutions that could potentially solve these problems. The first thing that we will look at are the problems that arise when technology is used in an educational setting. Specifically, we will look at how technology is misused in the classroom. Technology shouldn't be used in an educational environment because distracts too many students. This causes the information being taught not to be retained. According to an article titled "The Use and Abuse of Cell Phones and Text Messaging in the Classroom" from ProQuest, two professors of psychology at Wilton University surveyed college students from a variety of different academic majors in order to identify the underlying value of using technology in the classroom and how it affects their learning and how it is an advantage or a disadvantage. It was found that 95% of students bring their phones to class, 92% of those students text during class, and 10% of the students have used their phones on a test on at least one occasion. These results clearly highlight the challenges educational institutions face when technology is added to the environment. In another article from InsideHigherEd.com, the author analyzed a recent study done at the University of Waterloo that set out to show how harmful technology really is in an educational environment. The results showed that of the undergraduate students surveyed, 49% of the students use technology in a way that hinders their learning. That's around 750 students here at Warburg and around 12 students in our speech class. These studies ultimately found that the misuse of technology was overall distraction to students when integrated into the classroom. Now that we have looked at the problem, we can now look at what's causing this distraction to learning. There are many causes that could lead to these problems, but the two most prominent ways had to do with the way students viewed technology in a method that is natural to our brains and retention of information. In an article from newsroomucla.edu, the author examined studies which showed the adverse effects technology has on the students' minds when used in the classroom. Students learning without technology showed more interest in subjects such as reading, which lead to higher development of imagination, induction, reflection, critical thinking, and even vocabulary. Reading for pleasure is the key to developing these skills, but because of technology, students today have a more visual literacy rather than print literacy. So technology is not a solution in education because these essential skills are being lost rather than attained. Essential skill. Another article from clearviewhealth.com, the author conducted studies that consisted of students typing information from a lecture rather than writing it. The studies found that writing down the material by hand involves a more in-depth process of the material, since people tend to give more consideration to which parts of the material they want to write down, and as opposed to typing where the student transcribes everything the speaker says word for word. Typing doesn't allow the student to focus on the information being provided, which doesn't allow them to learn or retain the information. Now that we know the causes of the problem, we can start to determine and narrow down some efficient solutions. Along with the many causes pertaining to the problem, there are also many solutions. Since we can't escape technology in the classroom, two of the best solutions I found were solutions that still integrate technology into the classroom, just because technology is everywhere, but they use it in a different way, in a more proficient way. In an article from the irishtimes.com, the author researched how technology should be used in the classroom to create an environment in which technology enhances student learning. In this research, he found that giving school students access to iPads, laptops, and ebooks in the classroom appeared to hurt their learning. However, putting this technology in the hands of a teacher rather than the student is associated with more positive results. Technology needs to be handled in a different way in order to create the best learning environment for the students. If the teacher rather than the student uses technology, it has the capability to enhance learning in the classroom because it provides correct and on-task information. We can't escape technology because it is already an integral part of our lives, and it will always be rapidly evolving. In an article from edutopia.org, the author believes that the effective integration of technology is achieved when students are able to select technology tools to help them obtain information in a timely manner, analyze and synthesize the information, and present it professionally. The technology should become an integral part of how the classroom functions, as accessible to as all other classroom tools. If technology is used in a correct way through planning and organization, learning will be greatly enhanced in the classroom while also extending the impact of learning in powerful ways. Together, we have walked through the negative effects that technology has on student learning in the classroom, the causes that hinder the transferal of information, and how we could solve these problems while still using technology in the classroom. These solutions are easy to integrate into an educational environment and could possibly enhance learning when used correctly. Technology has affected our lives constructively in an innumerable amount of ways, but when technology is integrated into the classroom, it can cause adverse effects in student learning and eventually lead to an inoperable society in the future.